Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer Podcast. I do this every day. Today, high crime and art in decline. But first, please like, share, and subscribe. That's the best way you can support the channel. If you do want to support the channel, the information in the description for Cash App. My handle is Charlie Greer Podcast. And also, there's information for Zelle. You have to use my email. It's all in there in the description. Let's do this. So, high crime. Yeah, it's brutal. A lot of crime. I heard something today that it's the highest murder rate we've ever had in our country. That's messed up. Um, and they're also not reporting. See, they're not reporting certain crimes too. They don't. When I left Los Angeles, that you had to steal up to $800 before they'd even like the cops would come. You know what I mean? They wouldn't even prosecute or do anything. $800. Shit, you could basically go in and get like a guitar, like an $800 guitar, and just mosey on out. Um, I guess they don't want to get sued, or who knows, you know. Then I heard that Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, he released 78,000 felons, like murderous, 78,000. Well, if they get together, that's an army. Okay, 78,000 people can do some damage. Unarmed, 78,000 people ascend on. Come on, man. They're going to rip up buildings, and again, they're not grouped up. That's what I'm talking about. Why would they be doing this under the guise of, well, there's, this and that and the other. We've been going through a couple of years, and got to release people because, why the felons? Why Danny Trejo, the actor, he's a serious dude. He was on death row. How do you get off a death row? He did, and now he's a star. He's I've heard he's cartel. Who knows? I shouldn't have said that. Anywho's it. It seems like they're promoting. See, anything a simple-minded person or a sociopath or a psychopath, whatever, they just invert things. That's what evil is. The nanny. Oh, this is what I should do, huh? They just do the opposite of it, kind of like what kids do. That's what they're doing. It isn't like they're sitting around. I mean, granted, they have like think tanks and board meetings and whatever, but it's just mostly people, for one, relish in crime. We all like a good true crime story. Come on, we're all guilty of certain things. Not necessarily guilty, but guilty pleasure. I love true crime. I watch true crime all the time, and I do. Part of my podcast is about true crime. I love the Delphi case. It's fascinating about how much craziness is going on and stuff. But I'm talking about people that like, they for one, they might think, subconsciously, they might think they're doing the right thing, which they're not. And then also they'll just invert, meaning doing the opposite. They're contrary to what they'll just do take a left, take a right. I mean, people live their lives that way. They will literally, they say it starts when you're younger, when you're like 3, 4, 5 years old. If you don't have the right supervision, or you see it from your parents or whatever, you'll just do the opposite of what. You want me to do this? No, I'll do that. They don't like to be told what to do. There's certain people that don't like to be told what to do. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they never change. Sociopath, psychopath. I should do this. I'll do that. I should live my life this way. I do that. Now, granted, you should have the freedom to do what you're going to do, but it seems like there's all this passive aggressive, again, high crime. What is it with all these murders and this, that, and the other? And then, I don't get it. And where did the people get their energy to do this crime? Is it drugs? Is it the meth fueled madness? Shit. I mean, I'm older, but man, I've like slowed down a lot. And even when I was a wild man running the streets, I went into crime. I just wanted to have fun, make a little bit of money, accomplish a few things. Never was I, and I was around people who were scamming and this, that, and the other. And most of them didn't make it though. Most of them, something bad happened to, you can't, again, Action, reaction, cause and effect. You got to understand this, that you can't go around and like, I see a lot of weak people. I'm talking weak, like physically and mentally weak, being aggressive with nothing to back it up. So living in LA for 24 years, that's one of the things that you learn. It's like, man, don't be peacocking around and being like, chest out, bulldogging, because unless you got like 10 people behind you or you're just the biggest Billy badass ever, there's action, reaction. Like when I moved back a while back, I moved to the Midwest. All these people, women, men, kids, just aggressive, and they have nothing to back it up. They're physically not. Come on. Um, I don't get it. How they think in their mind, they're not gonna. Um, you know, there's not something coming. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's me. It ain't gonna be. I let people do what they're gonna. Matter of fact, that's the hardest part of my faith is having to pray for these fools. Because I was saved. Almost died in 2013, so I changed my life. I had to learn to walk again. I was in the hospital. You know, I'm still kind of crippled up from it. They gave me 5 years to live. That was 10 years ago. You only got 5 years to live. What? Yeah, 5 years. Go live your life. Go do it. What's been 10? And I think I outlived one of those doctors who told me. Then I got jumped by these three gangbangers from behind. Okay, like they can't, huh? What? You're so bad. You jumped me at 48. The time I was 48. Was it 3 years ago? 49. A 49-year-old dude from behind. I was on the microphone. I used to be a salesman on the microphone on Hollywood Boulevard, and wrong place, wrong time. They picked me, but they bit off more than they could chew. It became this huge thing. Stuff crashing and breaking, and people screaming, and well, they went running. Of course, I'm all bloodied up. And then the LAPD covered for these gangbangers. Wouldn't release the footage. Wouldn't release. Matter of fact, they wouldn't release the police report until just after they messed up my settlement because they probably knew what was coming after them, a lawsuit, which we tried, we couldn't because they wouldn't release the police report. They would just release the partial, which they gave me that day. It's like the one sheet, and you have to get they wouldn't release it. And the sheet that I have is blood stained because I was dripping blood when the cops were there. And they were making fun of me, like, oh, yeah, you need an ambulance. Because there was an ambulance sitting there. And I go, because I knew I was hurt. I was like, should I get in there? Like, well, it's about $2,000, $2,500 to drive you a block or two to the hospital. I was like, no, I'm going to, and I was concussed. I wasn't thinking right. Anywho's it. High crime everywhere. And it seems like it's promoted. It seems like people, again, there's a difference between like, loving to read like serial killer books and watching true crime to literally like being obsessed and following these people. Like people, murderers and stuff in jail. Well, hell, they got fan clubs. All these people want to marry them and this, that, and the other, and send them. I don't get that. Of course, yeah, I want to watch some kind of crime. And then art is in decline. Art is that's it's as old as time. High crime, art in decline. You can't have one without the other. The arts are just, and the only art that's going around, it has to be some kind of creepy, weirdo, demonic. I can't say much about, but it's sickening. The arts are what uplift us to fulfill dreams and inspire us to do better. And then when you're bogged down, see, they know this. This is actually deliberate. Like the media and the corporate interests, they know they can't have true artists. No, they want people that can be controlled and do what they're told and do anything they're told. Like you would not believe what they do and keep it up. They have to keep up doing what they're told. Artists today, even painters, aren't as rich as you think they are. For one, a lot of times, even with my experience, like if I had someone represent me or a gallery or gallery owner, whatever, a show, right off the bat, they wanted 50%. Okay, fine. And they usually will raise your prices to kind of compensate, Well, then they take 50%. And then you got to pay taxes and this, that, and the other. And sometimes it's 40, 60 if it's a big gallery. And I would do it if I knew I was going to make, 40% of something is better than 0% of nothing, right? So um, you're not gonna. And then there was pay to play art shows. They were like, keep it on the don't tell. Because I found out about it. Of course, I knew about pay to play shows, band shows. Art's the same way. You want to be dude, you have to pay. You know. There was this girl that in LA, she out of nowhere painting these horrible paintings. Usually, the bigger the painting, the easier it is to sell. Believe it or not. These big old stupid looking, and then she was, of course, with this older guy, this rich older guy. Now he's paying this gallery, like downtown LA gallery, to feature her, and people started buying her art, and they're like, wait a minute, you can't even give it away. You know what I mean? And then she couldn't, she kept cackling about, she told people she was paying. They tell you, like, don't say anything. They want to be everybody knows, but they want you to not talk about it. She's like, yeah, I paid it, what? And it caused a fuss. Other artists are like, real artists and good and great and this, that, and the other thing. And then they don't have the money, or they have, a conscience. They don't want to do it. They just feel like paying is again, everything's commerce, but again, the artists are held down while they promote these criminals, man. Hell, that's all they've been doing in music and urban music. The gangster rap and stuff. I still can't believe on a corporate level for decades, they've been promoting shootings and pimping and hoeing and this and that and the other thing. But then you find out, well, Sony Records owns a third of our prisons. Wow. Well, they got to fill those prisons. How you do that? Release violent music. Make the youth think that it's cool to be in jail, which it ain't, they'll find out. And there's money in prison. It's a privatized business. Prisons are privatized. It's like going into McDonald's or something. You got the money, you probably open a prison. I'm sure there's paperwork and, red tape to get, but you can get, shit. It's a money maker, man. I guess a big one too. The area that I'm in, I've heard this from multiple people. At first I heard it, I go, well, there's a prison near where I'm at. And, this guy from the East Coast was moved there. I guess he's going to spend the rest of his, whatever. He's here. Well, he's a shot caller. This is what I've been told. This is like second, third hand. So I don't. He's a shot caller. He's known for moving weight and this, that, and the other thing, and slanging. Well, he moved his family from the East Coast to the Midwest to operate. And people know who they are, and it looks like it's just like the cops aren't. They know where they're at. Part of me, it's open, like you can see, like, oh, definitely this is, criminal activity, and nobody does anything. Old ladies are complaining, and this, that, and the other. Nobody calling. I remember the report. It's been going on. It's just business as usual for these people. That's what is on the agenda today. That's the only thing they promote, it seems like, is it just seems like there's so much and I know that we go through these periods through human history where these psychopaths, sociopaths get into power. Of course, they attract the same types. Well, they just do what they're going to do. It's the scorpion and the frog story. They're just gonna be murderous, pimping, whatever it is, and they kind of get. It seems like it's like they have promotion, like they have people behind the scenes going, "Oh yeah, you do huh? Is it me? Am I the asshole that like thinks that I guess so. I mean, it just what could you do? Again, combat it with art. Yet art is in the decline. I don't see any art galleries or any kind of, they're only promoting a certain type of music, a certain type of behavior. And then if you don't do that, well, they call you everything under the sun. That's another thing. Like, just because I don't think like you do or whatever, they'll call you like the worst things, they label you as some kind of, dear Lord. Again, how do you combat it? Through art. Unfortunately, the arts are in a decline. I mean, a decline. We're living through a creative dark ages right now. It's sad. Um, BJ, my dog's having a bad dream. Um, maybe she's hearing me rant like a madman. But again, make art. You know, in the '60s during the Vietnam War, it's like make love, not war. I mean, you had to combat it with love and art. You know, um, start painting, start playing guitar, start who knows, uh, any kind of creative crafts. I don't care what it is, knitting. Who knows? Um, we've taken the arts out of the schools. Is there any art class in schools? Uh, I know this younger generation, the people I've rented, they don't know cursive writing. It's like you don't know how to write cursive, and I see their hand because my handwriting's bad too. I mean, I get it, but I mean, this handwriting, it's again, what are we doing? There's got to be an agenda. There's got to be holding people down to, again, it's not even about money because people, you see, you'll get bored with money. It's this nanny boo boo kind of, they get off, sociopaths, psychopaths get off on holding people down. Um, I met an actor. I've told this before in a previous episode, but I met an actor. I was on an audition. I was at CBS in Hollywood. It was a big, nice, huge lobby. And he was sitting when I got there. I was like, oh my God. And I forgot his name, but he was the actor that played like Mo Green in The Godfather. I forgot his name, but he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's passed, but he was sitting there. He looked aggravated. I go check in with the secretary, whoever. She's like, oh, okay, have a seat. You got to wait. And I walk over, and again, it's big, but it's only him. So I'm walking, and I'm like, oh my God, there's Mo Green. And he's like, yeah, man, they got me waiting too. So immediately we started talking. I sat beside him, and then I go, wait, I'm Charles Greer, blah, blah, blah. I'm so-and-so. What are you waiting here for? He goes, man, I've been waiting forever. They got me here. And then he started ranting and raving about like, they're doing this so they can make fun of me later on at like a martini party or something. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, after work, they're going to have a little get together party. Oh yeah, I had so-and-so waiting in the lobby for 3 hours. Ha ha ha. Like I go, well, why are you even here? He goes, you know what? I don't even know. I was called. My agent said, go in there. I need work. And he was an older man by then. I got called before he did. And I went in to do, and hey, these people you're dealing with, I forgot what it was, but I didn't get it. Again, they called me in just to make fun of me, probably. Came out, and he's still there because I was in there for probably an hour, and I probably had to wait an hour, and then he'd already been there, and by then he was just lumped in the seat, and I go, man, I'm sorry. I mean, I love you. You're a great actor. He's just like, yeah, whatever. Let him make fun of me at the martini party. And I was laughing. And he left. There's no telling how long. Maybe they made him wait on like, oh, they're going to come back tomorrow again and wait. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the moral of the story is that's the thing. These people are in power and then doing this, again, this nanny boo-boo behavior, which has nothing to do with anything. Most of the time when I've been called into a creative situation about what I'm doing or offered something, they won't even talk about what we are there to do. And if you bring it up, they get defensive and maybe kick you out or what. It's like, aren't I here to talk about either my book, my music, my this or that, whatever? Why do we talk about that? But then why am I even here? Yeah. Well, because we can just sit here and aggravate you. What? Get called to an audition and then they won't even turn on the camera. Like, are you going to turn the camera on? Well, how do you know it's not on? Because the light blinks. You can tell. What? Well, you're just being mean. Well, fine. I guess I am. But I was expected to be treated with a little bit of dignity. I mean, I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, for Christ's sake. I had to bust my back to get in this union to deal with you guys who aren't in a union. You're hired to brutal. I mean, it makes you question. Like, again, I'm suffering right now from rolling the dice on my creative life. Had nothing to do with my creative output. It had to do with I wasn't a certain pigeonholed kind of type of person they needed. For one thing, there's just things that aren't really conspiracies or anything like that. Even behave like when I got to LA, Took me a couple years to read because I knew casting people and I knew wardrobe people and I knew all these people. And like, say a guy, um, the typical male actor, and this is just the odds, are 5'9" and wear a size 9 shoe. So most of the casting, most of the wardrobe, this, that, and the other, are for a guy that's 5'9" who wears a size 9 shoe. So a lot of times when you're looking through the breakdowns, they'll tell what the character is, but they're just looking. They'll tell you what you need to be 5'9", wear a size 9. Well, I'm 6'2". I wear a size 13. Well, that you're not gonna, even if the role calls for a bigger person, they will literally they'll shoot it where he's standing on boxes, so it makes him look bigger. Again, that's not. It's just that's just how it is. The general public, most men the average is 5'9" and wear a size 9. There's wardrobe houses full of these costumes that and I'm sure with women it's the same thing. It's the same, size, and you literally there were breakdowns. A breakdown is like what roles are available to audition for or whatever. And you have to submit yourself. You just can't show up. If you get picked and you go and it's just like, it must be 5'9", size 9, and I couldn't submit myself to a lot of stuff because I was just taller than, that's just how it is. That there's certain things in life is like, well, dang, I mean, it isn't like they're conspiring. It's just the average law of the odds. The odds are someone, and then if you look at like even rock stars, the average, like Axl Rose, 5'9", wears a size 9. The guy in Poison, the guy in this and that, the Def Leppard, it's silly. It's weird how that is, how they're the same size. And I mean, it's kind of mind blowing. You think like, well, he's crazy. Well, maybe I am, but this is the truth. And the arts have just been like a nose diving. If the art bottom has the art bottom has a basement or two, because we're headed there. Like the other night with the Grammys, are you kidding me? I mean, I didn't watch them, but I saw clips. I'm like, is this what they? And then that one performance that was all like demonic or whatever, sponsored by Pfizer. Like, what? Are you kidding me? That's what you're gonna saddle up on. That's what you're gonna, again, people have to start speaking out, people have to, and start doing more art, start doing more, now there's a rise in the gladiator sports, like MMA, which I like watching a good MMA fight, but now they have like slap fights. Like, what are you kidding? Are you serious? Like, do people watch this? I recommend watching the movie Idiocracy. That's where we're at. That's where we're headed. That's where we're already in. The dumbest people think they're the smartest. They make fun of you and say you're dumb when they're just like literally like mouth breathing fools. It's a thing. Perhaps we need to change, but now they people are again vote a lot of these people in. These businesses, like say any kind of a creative, like say the studio system in Los Angeles, that pretty much in Chicago, in New York, whoever's behind the scenes, they don't have any talent. They're usually a nepotist who their family paid for them to get an education, which they cheated their way through. Believe me, people write papers for people. I forgot his name. He was a mayor of Chicago years back, and he went to jail, whatever his, and he couldn't even turn on a laptop. He didn't know how even to. He was dude because he's just corrupt. He'll do what they they need a Pinocchio. They need a. And people believe everything they're told or read or see on TV. They don't have any. You know how many times I've tried to have conversations. It's not even an argument, a conversation with someone. Well, I saw it on. You saw it on what? We know that's and these corporations are all owned by now. Government agencies own a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, you got to look into it. You can't be, well, I've got, there's so many excuses. Well, I've got a family. I've got this. I got a job. I like to, on the weekends, I just want to, I get that. But you're going to have to, because they're going after like comedians. They've attacked comedians. Even top like Jerry Seinfeld, these guys used to tour campuses. They can't anymore because they got like doxxed or whatever, shadow ban. Well, who knows? There's a new term they call it, like, it's basically like, you can't say this, you can't say that. They removed To Kill a Mockingbird, the book, and the movie. Like, you can't have it in school. Like, what they're doing is they're repeating these same mistakes. And well, To Kill a Mockingbird, that book makes people uncomfortable. Well, that's the point of the book. That's, it's supposed to make people feel uncomfortable, so they don't do it. It's not to inspire people to do bad. See, that's another thing. Dumb people are so literal. Like, well, should I do bad when you got rid of To Kill a Mockingbird? I mean, huh? They won't show the movie. I mean, there's no telling how many books they've gotten rid of. I mean, it's just sad. Comedians. I was watching, God, what was I watching? And they were talking about like, they won't pay comedians anymore. They expect them. Oh, it's because of exposure. And these are like established comedians. Like, I don't need exposure. I need to get paid. And so they were like a spot, like to do a spot in like Manhattan, a spot. You go up for like 15, 20 minutes, whatever, $25 for comedians that are known. $25. That's not going to, the tolls to come into Manhattan, the parking, the gas, the this and that and the other. Well, hell, you got to spend about $100 just to get there. You're already, what, $75 in the hole? Oh, you can promote your gig. What? $25. It's everywhere. That's what the first, during World War II, World War I, II, they first round up the artists. They have to get them because they're the ones that stand up, especially the comedians and the performers and this, that, and the other. They're going after these people. Again, they're repeating the same mistakes. I was growing up, people thought like, how could people have reacted like during World War II and let that happen? Well, now you see it happening. It's just like, damn, we're making the same mistakes. A lot of people that I used to know have changed, have fallen for this like low-hanging fruit. They're following the fool. They're just following the most passive-aggressive, narcissist. Yeah, I'm a con man. Come follow me. Okay, here we go. And then when they end up in jail, like, well, God, you were right, Charlie. But, well, yeah, I told you that 10 years ago. But I know it's too late now. I mean, it's changed you emotionally. See, people don't think about, they don't have any foresight to realize that you're changed emotionally. You will change. You'll fall. It's progressive too. It's like a snowball effect. You'll get worse and worse and worse. And then if you don't work, especially if you don't work on yourself, if you don't do like a personal inventory, like, see, where am I at today? How am I thinking? Then you're lost. Try to talk about this to the general public. They'll be sitting there eating Skittles and drinking soda. Be like, dang, I'm gonna go. You're not gonna reach them. I mean, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. What could happen to change? It's going to have to be something. I did an episode about the crab bucket theory. Or if you got one crab in the bucket, well, he'll fling his ass out, break a leg just to lose an arm, whatever, to a claw just to get out back in the ocean. But if you've got a bunch of crabs, like full of the bucket, you don't even have to put a lid on it. The other crabs will keep them down. That's a thing. And that equates to human behavior, human psychology. People don't want to see you doing better than them. That's another thing. And then if they're allowed to wallow in that behavior, it gets worse. People don't want you to be doing better than them. I don't understand why. I love to see people like succeeding, and that inspires me to do better. And oh my God, if he's doing, then or she's doing, then I'll be, not anymore. Not. That's a lost art. I mean, I know I'm a haggard old man. I'm like 52, and here I am, raised. That's who I've come. But But there's certain things I wouldn't budge on, not an inch. Certain my conscience, certain things, my faith, certain how I treat people. Just because someone does something, you don't mean you have to react to it. Sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me, kind of thing. You don't have to be all reactionary in this. A lot of times I see this behavior like in stores. I was in a store yesterday, and I was standing there and I could see Moop coming at me, and I wasn't, there was all this room for these, this woman was coming with her basket and like almost hit me, and I wasn't even in her way. She had all the other room in the world. She could have had 4 baskets going by, or like a cart. And I heard it coming and I saw it. And so I moved out of the way and I kind of looked at her, and she just had this look. And I thought, don't you get it? Like, don't you know that you're basically, that's a Luciferian type of behavior, man. That they probably like, well, no, they don't get it. And I kind of watched her go by, and then she looked like she got like, again, sociopathic behavior. And before this happened, she was staring at me in the store. Like, people stare at you. Of course, I'm tall, so a lot of times people stare, whatever. Why is she staring at me? Her ugly ass. She almost hit me. It's, what are you going to do? You know what I did? I said a blessing for her. And that's one of the things that the hardest part of my faith is doing that. Is like, thank you that I'm not like that. That's what I'll do. And I like bless them. I'm all about spreading the blessings, and I'm not going down that road with people. Just because someone jumps off a bridge doesn't mean I have to, So I just, it makes me feel better when I do that. Like, oh, bless them. Thank you. I'm not like that, and move on with my day. It used to be harder for me now that I do that, understand that knowledge. Well, my life's a lot better. But when I was young, I might fly off, and we all are guilty. But with the high crime, art in decline, that's a recipe for disaster. And then you see it around. You see watch the Grammys the other night. Watch what's going on in our world. Watch what they're promoting. I didn't see any instruments being played on the Grammys. It's a music show. Music's played by instruments. All these dancers, and believe it or not, dancing has nothing to do with the music industry. Yeah, you dance to music, but you're not creating music dancing. You understand? I'm not saying banning dancing or something. It's not like Footloose. We're going to get dancing down. None of that. But they're pulling the wool over people's eyes. It's not the same. It's different. You can't write a song dancing. You can dance to a song, but you can't 100 people on stage, just hoochie momming around. That's not creative. That has more to do with sports and physical activity than, you have to use your brain to write a song and stuff. Well, they don't want that. They don't want you thinking. Everything's sampled. See, it's easier for people to make music now. That's why you're getting people that they don't even know how to play an instrument. Was it Lizzo? She plays the flute. Huh? So you remembered how to play the flute? What? That's just again. It's just I get it. I'm a haggard old dude. I've turned into that old guy that I know. But it's just surprising to me that like people I used to know or people that I don't know but I see around, how they're acting. It's they need to get it together. They probably won't. They need to work on themselves spiritually. They probably won't. Perhaps they will, but I hope so. I hope so. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. If you like hearing me rant like a madman, like, share, and subscribe. If you do want to support the channel, the information is in the description for Cash App. My handle is charliegreerpodcast, and there's also information for Zelle. It's my email. It's all in the description. You can figure it out. I do this every day, unfortunately for me, I guess, and you. So I'll be back tomorrow, ranting like a madman. But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.